So, hello, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I've already introduced myself, but for Steven, my name's Tin. I'm a consultant that deals with business, especially when that business has to do with technology. I'm going to talk about tea business and tea business, a little play in the name there, but you'll see, it makes sense. It's essentially a talk about pricing, presence, and the art of being worth it. The art of making something simple be refined. So, I'm a consultant, not a contractor. It's an important distinction that a lot of people do not see, but through this talk, you'll learn why. I work on outcomes, not hours, and I'm a big opponent of using hours for work. I worked for KiwiCom, which is a big company here in Czech Republic, currently going through troubles. I worked for the NBA, the National Basketball Association, Kobe Bryant, etc. I worked with Roam, which is the startup I'm currently mostly collaborating with. I also run a tea room / tea shop. Indirectly, I'm a part owner, and it's a specialty tea that we will be tasting a bit later. So, two businesses, one principle. What you deliver and how much you charge for it. That's going to be the topic of today's talk. Essentially, when you work with tea, it's more complicated than you'd think. Everybody has used a tea bag. That's not even entry level, that's before entry level. Tea itself, all the different types of real tea, the caffeinated stuff, come from a single plant, Camellia sinensis. And that plant gets processed different ways. So green tea, black tea, same thing. Fancy tea, same thing as the bag tea. It's all the same plant. But the whole point is that it's like wine. It has terroir. It has effects from attitude, geography, processing, time, season, etc. It's exactly like sommeliers, but tea was drunk like this 3,000 years before people were even thinking seriously about wine. So yeah, I have prepared here tea for you, Chimen Hongcha. Hongcha means red tea, and I will pour it to you in a second. So Chimen is Hongcha is a red tea. It's one of our better teas from an Anhui province, so it's a single origin tea, rich, dense, sweet. It's like a jam, and yeah, I think you will like it. What I'm doing right now, how I'm preparing it, is I'm using what's called a gaiwan, which is a traditional Chinese tea vessel. And what I'm doing is called a gongfu preparation. A gongfu preparation has you use a lot of tea, 7-8 grams, and use it multiple times. What is that going to be like is it's going to be several different beverages from a single plant. And that will become a lot more obvious once I start pouring. So give me a minute. And while I prepare this tea, I'll mention that the important part here, the important parallel with business, is that when I make tea, I try to focus on it. I try to remain mindful of what I'm doing. And that's a big part of the tea ceremony, is understanding that you don't rush some things. You don't rush some processes, you don't rush some preparations. And here we go. I'll keep this away so it doesn't break. So, what I'll do right now is give each one of you a cup. So go ahead, grab one. Some tea in it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I'll ask you all to give it a smell, to have a taste, and to focus on it. And see if you can find that berry finish in it. Take a moment, just drink it. And what I'll ask you is to finish your cup. As I'll go ahead and pour you a second steep. Start. Which is an essential part of what's called the Gong Fu ceremony, is drinking tea in different versions. So essentially the initial drink is far more aromatic, while the second steep or version has a lot more of the, let's call it bitterness and darker tones, but also a lot more body, a lot more quote unquote taste. There you go. Now, that's the benefit of having a fancy tea, a good tea, is that you can drink it in this kind of a Gong Fu Cha approach, the long way around. You use a small pot, or in a bowl in my case. You lose a lot of tea, a little water. The process is a little bit more involved, but you get 5, 8, 10 infusions with some teas. You get a lot of different versions, a lot of different beverages from a single leaf. And that's a parallel to business. You may have a single product, but you may have 5, 8, 10 versions, each one of them different, more mature, refined. So, slowing down and kind of focusing on these changes, it's not a constraint, it's not a problem, it's the point. And that's where the parallel with business comes in. Parallel with business that I like to put to people is that hourly rate is a cage, and payment for time is a scam, essentially. You need to focus to be efficient, to be better, to do better, not because somebody will pay you for your hour, but because you will do a better job. You will do a better project. And that's one of the core tenets of my own business. So, the first thing to avoid are the broken incentives. So, as I mentioned, hours billed. You work your 8 hours, it doesn't matter if it's a good job or not. It doesn't matter if you get the thing done or not. And that's the mentality of a contractor. That's the mentality of somebody who trades their time for money. And that's a mentality that sucks even as a business owner. You don't want to hire somebody to just sit at their desk for 8 hours. You want them to do something, to bring some value, to get things done. Similarly, people focus on revenue. We've earned so much money, but we wasted it using social media marketing that's overpriced. We wasted it by hiring 10 people to walk door to door. We wasted it this and that way. And you end up burning through 10 million Czech crowns only to make 100,000 in your pocket. You've went through a lot of effort for very little oomph, very little value. That's the trap with scale. Scale isn't always great. In a modern business, it's all about scale, scale, scale. And I like to offer a counterpoint. It's not just about scale. It's about getting to a correct place. So, this is titled Before You Build. And this could mean build with me or build for yourself. And I always go through 3 questions. They are the 3 most important questions for working with someone. Why me? Why would you hire somebody who's the best at their job? Why would you hire somebody who's going to be doing wonders for you? Is it worth it? Like, what do I uniquely bring that you cannot find with your neighbor's son? Or with the university guy that's going to do it for really cheap? Why now? Why is today the moment you want to bring your idea to life? Is it just convenience? Did you, I don't know, lose your job and you've decided, hey, might as well try it? Or do you see some real value in the world that you can bring? And finally, is it important? To whom, how much, what's on the line? I generally don't work with clients who play around because those clients then don't have a value in mind. I want to always get an answer to my email. I always want to call you and know that I'm on top of your priorities, work-wise. There's nothing less or more demotivating or less motivating than talking to your boss or your manager's manager and them not even knowing what you do. And that's a problem. If we work that way, we're not working for long. So, An important part of this is removing scope, removing the mission until there is only a single thread left, only a single hypothesis that you're testing, only a single thing that brings your business value. And that's something that's tricky to do. I'll talk about a real life story. Yesterday, a client told me, hey, we don't need you anymore. We're finished with our project. You've just done so much work in the first third of the project that we're gonna wait. And I end up making less money, quote unquote, but bringing them so much value that they don't need 2/3 of the project to be finished. We focused on the core essence of their project, and it was finished. It was done in the first week. I don't have to support it. My contract with them agrees that if they want something fancier, of course they have to pay. But in the end, I ended up making over 200 euros per hour for that project just because it got started, we got to the point, and now their deposit, they're happy paying it to me without that extra work. And I'm happy taking it. That's the point. You form a hypothesis and you validate it before you go selling, before you go building, before you go working more. And that's the thing. Somebody may say you lost tens of thousands of euros from the project that didn't end, but I think it's the other way around. I've gained far more value for far less physical work because we've uncovered what they really needed. And now, bringing it back to tea. A tea ceremony is all about doing it right, doing it slowly, being mindful, and focusing on the right things, focusing on what you're there to do. In a business, it teaches you to be there, to be present, to be there with a person that you're talking to. You're not supposed to be churning out these projects, talking to 5 people in a day, trying to sell. You're trying to be there for their specific needs. It's about ritual. You're trying to set up some concrete steps. I have my contracts. You sign them. I don't reinvent them. I have my processes. We go through this step. It costs that much. We will get this kind of output. All those rituals make sure that I don't mess up and that you, as a customer, are happy. And finally, no shortcuts. I made a funny sentence here. A tea bag is all the broken leaves. Like the good quality tea is whole leaves. And what's left is the leftovers that weren't processed correctly, carefully, etc. It's essentially the lowest common denominator. And we don't want that. So, part of that is the premium pricing. It's not just a number. It's not just a way to extract money from people. It's a signal. You want people, you want your clients to give you their full attention. And for that, you have to make the statement. You have to charge a lot. You want to signal that they have high confidence and they care and that they're not there to negotiate, to barter. They're there to get something done. And this is something I feel in my own life. Once you get something that's worth it, you just feel it. I have 2 examples from my own life. I've got an AC installed in my apartment last summer. Who didn't, right? And I got the more expensive option. I got the guys who came there, did the whole job in 3 hours, and disappeared. 2 units, 3 units on the roof, a lot of work. And if I was thinking hourly, I'd be like, they did all this in 3 hours, and I paid them 5 figures, 6 figures. And I would be disappointed. But I was just stunned. I came there, I opened the doors for them, I was working on my laptop. Before I thought of it, they told me, hey, we're done. I'm like, so what do we need to clean up? You don't need to clean up anything. Everything is clean, done. Walls are being painted, holes have been plugged. They brought their own guy for the ceiling because we put it through the ceiling of the building, and I was amazed. And now, counterexample, I hired Jerry. Jerry is a guy from Fiverr who was doing my taxes in the US. And Jerry made my life a living hell because I saw the services for taxes in the US are $500-600. I decided I'm going to cheap out. Here's $100 to Jerry. How hard can it be? Well, we had to go back and forth and me searching through US tax law for a good week. And that's a regret. I should have paid the price. Worth it is very subjective and you feel it. And you know when somebody is doing a job that they understand and when they're doing it to serve you and not just to earn a quick buck. Now, back to Mezyshalki. That's a part of my business. That's where I try to test these hypotheses in a more social setting. Computers get boring. And we sell quality tea. We sell tea that's not in range of prices of the tea bag. I have some teas there on my table. Each of them starts at some 500 crowns and up. But they're great. You're going to have opportunity to drink them, to enjoy them. And the best part is you are going to drink them and enjoy them because they're worth it. It's not something that you will buy, keep in a drawer until you toss it out 5 years later when it literally has no smell. And that's the important difference when we stock with care. We stock for love of the tea, love of the experience, not just to run a business. Our whole, anything we pick is curated to be the best in its league. It's not bigger, it's not faster, you just need to do it better in a way that actually matters. Yeah, you can ask me about some things later, getting off hourly billing, getting off the rat race. We can chat about tea, I brought some, and pricing and positioning for your specific situation, how I would think about your problem. I have a website written there, and I'm getting to a newsletter. I actually finished it today. I can add you there if you're interested. That's my presentation. Thank you for your attention.